Hi, good evening, everyone. It is 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, February 7th. This is the West Bridgewater Board of Selectmen meeting. Before we stand for the pledge, I would just like to make sure everybody's aware that this meeting is being recorded for use on the internet and our local cable station. We can stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, the first item on the agenda was to vote to ratify our new principal assessor's contract, but they are in session downstairs, and they will come up at some point later in the evening, and we will take care of that. Next on the agenda is we will go through a bunch of budget items. And first is data processing and ed. So, I need my glasses too.
Yeah, right. 1 year I forgot them. My arms weren't long enough.
All right. So we don't think we really need to go line by line, but obviously if we can go through some of the.
Actually, most of the lines are pretty much unchanged. The data processing coordinator put in for 2% raise. The data processing services went up 1,000, and that's an increase from KVS. Internet, all the rest of it stayed the same. It's the network tech consultant that had an increase. I mean, that's kind of twofold. Part of it is, a good part of it is managed services, and then a part of it too is also increases in our service contracts. The problem is, as the equipment gets older, the service contracts get more and more expensive. But unfortunately, you can't be without them, because they'll give them support and they'll guarantee next day service if you need parts and so forth.
I agree. So basically, that is just those two items more than anything?
Yes, everything else is, other than that and KVS, everything else is pretty much the same.
All right. So that 11 grand comes back to service contracts and managed services.
Right.
This is more for me to write it down right when we come back and discuss it. All right. Any questions, Mike? Or
No.
I think that's it.
Okay, all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for keeping the place running.
We try. Thank you.
All right.
See you.
Scott?
Good evening.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
So my first budget here is $1,450 for the treasurer collector office.
Yep.
And we can do the same thing as Ed, just go over the changes. First line, 5111, is my salary. That's a 3% raise. 5112 is fiscal clerk, which is Allison. She is in for a step raise this year, so it's a little more than the 3% contract. 5118, the assistant treasurer, is Maureen. She's at 3.4%. Over the 3% is just because of the 52.2 weeks next year, so there's an extra day in there. And it's the same with Jean on 5119. She's up to 3.3%. Longevity, 5140. That's going up $150 because Jean's hitting our 20th year this year. 5241 is equipment maintenance, and that's mostly for the postage machine. Requesting a small increase of $300, mostly for supplies. The ink on that machine runs about $200 for a little thing of it. We go through about 2 a year. That's gone up a bit. And
Now, does everything go through town? Like, does all, I guess really what I'm asking is, obviously we've got, or not obviously, but we have an increased mailing around elections and things along those lines this year.
Each department has their own postage budget.
Okay. So this is just your budget?
This is just the machine.
Okay.
No, well, this is just the machine. I kind of run the machine.
Okay.
So we just got a new machine a couple weeks ago. Same service contract as the previous one, but every department has their own postage budget.
Okay.
Next, 5303, data processing services. Requesting a $2,500 increase on that. This is for our payroll company that we use, Customized Data Services. For the first time since at least I took over 6-7 years ago, he's raising kind of the base fees of his operation, rearranging how he's charging some stuff. So that's going to go up about, I think, $2,300 was his estimate, which is a 16 to 18% increase. But it's a great payroll company. We really like them. They do a ton of behind-the-scenes stuff that really save us a lot of time and keep us good with the IRS. 5342, printing and stationery. There's a $500 increase there. Just the cost of supplies going up. Everything's, gone up a lot the last year or two. 5344 is banking lockbox service. That's $1,000 more. That mostly covers what we pay in Square fees for the town clerk. When they first added Square in, they were folded into the treasurer collector budget because I do all the banking and the fees come out of our bank. So with the increase in transfer station stickers last year, that actually added $1 fee for every transfer station sticker sold to my budget, which I didn't account for last year. So we sell about, I don't know, it was like 1,700 the last time I looked. And if, half of those are online, that's $1,000 right there.
Yep.
Postage, $2,000 increase. Postage is going up.
Yep.
And we mail out a lot of stuff. And finally was office supplies, 5420. Again, just supply increase.
Inflation. All right. Any questions, Mike?
No. Pretty straightforward.
Cool.
All right, my next budget is retirement of debt, 7,100. The first line there, 5901, is the big school loan we have. Last year it went up from $1 million to 1.1 million. This year it's going up to 1.2 million. These are the terms of the bonded loan that we took out 10 years ago. From now until the end of the term, it will be 1.2 million, and then it drops down again to 1.1 in 2036 or so. So this should be the last increase in that line. 5913 is just a small decrease. One of our loans, that's down to 0 now. So we paid off our last WPAT wastewater study last year. So that's zeroed out. And then no change on the other two. Bands is the short-term borrowing that we do every year. So that's the only thing that isn't set in stone, but we pay off as much debt as we can.
Okay.
And then the next department is 7510 for the interest on the long-term debt. All three decreases, or the first decrease is just balance of the loan smaller, so the interest is smaller. Same thing with 5916, with that going down 15,000. And then the wastewater study was paid off, so that $20 is knocked out also.
Go out on a limb and say that might be the best budget we have this year.
That's the easy one, yeah.
Down 54,000. They're not going to get many more like that.
No. And then my last department is interest on the short-term debt, 7520. That's more variable interest because that's on the bands, which we take out every year, the one-year notes. So I'm keeping that the same as last year with interest rates still pretty much holding.
All right.
And that's debt.
I don't think I have any. You answered most of the questions I had in notes. That was the big question. I don't think I have anything else. Anything
Nope,
else?
I haven't. I don't have anything.
Super. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for all you do.
Have a good night.
Skip to number 1.
Yeah, we bounced around on the agenda a little bit, but now we can go back to the very first thing on the agenda. Daniela, Cheryl, welcome. So the first item on the agenda was to vote to ratify Daniela's Nilsson's employment as principal assessor. So we have the contract in front of us. Do you have any questions, Mike?
I do not.
And I don't either. So, with
Make
that
a
being
motion?
said, take a motion.
I make a motion to ratify Daniela Nielsen's employment as the principal assessor.
And I'll second that and vote in favor.
And I'll vote yes as well.
Congratulations. We're happy
Congratulations.
to have you move over a desk or so and provide some continuity. And I know prior to this meeting starting, your meeting was up on the screen, and we watched you go through your first meeting. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Super. All right. So we're at a point now where next on the agenda, well, next time for budget is 7 o'clock. But the town clerk's office is open until 7, so we will move on to other items. Item H on the agenda, which is vote to approve the updated town communication committee mission statement.
Yep, and we can do that, Mr. Chairman, but also I handle the budgets in G.
Oh.
So if you want, I can do those now, I can do
Yes,
them later.
no,
Whatever
that's
you
fine.
prefer.
Let's do those now. I was just skipping budgets entirely.
Yep, so I handle all the small budgets on behalf of the boards and committees, so they don't have to come in. Before you have 5 level funded budgets, Agricultural Commission, and the others, they're all the exact same amount year over year. So agricultural is 600, Women's Place is 2750, BARC out of Brockton is 250, Old Colony is 2000, and Plymouth County Extension Services is
Dave, can we
200.
just hold on one second? Just trying to catch up. What page are we on?
So they're all on different budgets, so why don't you take a look, if there's one in particular you want to ask a question about. But 1720 is Agricultural Commission. That's level funded at 600.
Comes right after the fire department. If you
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
24 on this.
And then jumping to the 5000s. 3 budgets in a row. Woman's Place at 2750 is level funded year over year. BAARC is level funded at $250. And Old Colony is level funded at $2,000. And the last one, which is budget 6600, is Plymouth County Extension Services. That's level funded at 200.
Nothing to me. Nothing to me.
Great. All right, so we'll move along, I guess, now to the vote to approve the updated town communication committee mission statement. And that is pretty straightforward and pretty simple. We have 2 parts to that. One is to improve the communication of urgent information to residents, and the second is to improve the communication of day-to-day activities with West Bridgewater government to its citizens. So we are looking at, we're looking at some form of a alert, and we're also looking at improving the current website or potentially finding a different vendor going along that way. Those meetings have been taking place and will continue to take place through February, and we'll make a decision and come with a budget towards prior to town meeting. So.
And I will ask you to take a vote to approve this as presented last week, or last meeting. You added the town clerk to the committee,
Yes.
but because this is a signed policy, I thought it would be best to belt and suspend it by putting the policy with that updated change and ask you to approve it, sign it, and that way it's memorialized.
All right. Make a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the updated town communication committee mission statement as presented.
I will second and vote yes.
Yeah, I'll vote yes as well.
All right. Our town clerk has run up the stairs. Has she
Yep.
caught her breath?
Yes.
We'll go through budget.
10.
Then I went backwards on all Scott's stuff to double check. I am good.
Okay, so we'll start with the town clerk's budget, and it's basically, most of it is contractional, and then there's a little bit of increase to cover the costs of things going up like postage, et cetera.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any questions.
No, Scott just explained the 3.36. That would be a question, but I'm all set on
Okay.
the additional week, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Mike, do you have anything on that
I
first
do
page?
not know.
Okay. Elections.
Elections, it is what it is. We have 3 elections this year and this next fiscal year, and one of them is the presidential, so the costs reflect, the increase reflects that.
And we cut that much. We cut a bunch out this year with low elections, right? Out of the budget anyhow. Our budget was less. This will go up and down. I guess what I'm saying
It
is
goes up and down, because
based on-
this past fiscal year, there was only 2 elections.
Yep.
So it went down, and then this upcoming one, it's 3, so it goes up. And it goes up more than it does, well, it always does for 3, but the presidential is very expensive to run.
Right. Unfortunately, that all makes sense.
Yep.
Hopefully people get out and vote, get our
Yes.
money's worth.
Exactly. They usually do. Our town's pretty good about that
Yep.
on the presidential, yeah.
Veterans.
Veterans went up a little bit just to cover the cost of the flags, because the flags have gone up a lot. They used to be under $1, now they're well over $1, so just to reflect that.
It's a proper tribute.
There's no parade this year in our town, so there's not any of that additional cost.
Anything?
Nope.
As a veteran, I would defer to you.
Nope, I'm a part of this committee.
Yeah.
All right. Very well. And that's everything.
That's it for me.
So, thank you.
All right, you're
You have a
welcome.
busy year ahead of you.
Yes, I do.
So,
Thanks a lot.
no problem. Have a good evening.
You too.
Go down the stairs a little slower.
A little slower? Okay.
All right. So next on the agenda is a vote to approve an application for a one-day liquor license for the Lions Club Valentine's Day 50/50s Sock Hop on February 9th, 2024.
Yep, so we do this for Alliance every single year, and the only thing I ask is that because it's a not-for-profit, the board historically waives the alcohol fee, which is $50, but they waive the fee for a non-profit, so I would ask you to do that, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, so motion, Mike?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I make a motion to approve the application for the one-day liquor license for the Lions Club, waiving the one-day fee for the day's 50s sock hop on February 9th, 2024.
I will second that and vote in favor.
Yes.
All right. Mike,
Hi,
how are you?
good, how are you?
Good. We will, we'll go through I know it's probably your first time through it.
Yeah.
We'll go through, we don't need to, unless Mike Perez has a question on a 0% increase. I am good, and we just want to talk about the pluses and the minuses on the budget, on your budget. so.
Okay, everything's staying the same as last year,
Mhm.
except for the salaries due to contractual reasons. But other than that, everything else is the same.
The salaries, okay. So there's some step in there for some people too then,
Step.
okay. Making my way down the items, all zeros. All right, that's pretty much that budget, all related to salary. Next budget was snow removal, how we doing?
We're not doing bad. We've been out 13 times. We dropped the plows twice. Once with the contractors, once we slushed them off. But other than that, we're doing pretty good. I feel.
Let me back up and say, I think you're doing very well. I know the roads, it's been difficult, probably snow might be easier to clear and find than ice.
Yeah.
And I know, from comments from other people, comments I've read in different places, it seems like we're on top of things, so thank you. And may the blizzard of 78 just stay
away.
a memory,
Yeah.
as it was it would have been yesterday and today, I believe, so cruising along. So no real change to the snow budget. Obviously, that's something we calculate at the end of the year when we
That's correct. So this is the only budget that, this is the only operational budget allowed by law that you can deficit spend. So you'll see last year we spent $205,000. So at the end of the year, we'll do an end-of-year transfer. The Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee will make a transfer at that point.
Street lighting. We're coming in, looks like hopefully a little bit less.
Yep.
I understand that's got to do with LED lights,
That's correct.
so great to see that. Cut back the budget. Hopefully, when we get a full year's worth of LED lighting, we'll have a good number and we can reduce this a little bit. And then transfer station. Again, just a salary increase. I assume there's a step in that as well.
Not with Richie. Richie's at maxed out.
Okay. There's a 5.5% increase in labor. Just what that would be?
Yeah, no, it had to be a step increase because this past contract, we added steps for 10 and 15.
Yeah, that's correct.
So
yes.
so that's
Yes.
why it would have
Yeah,
been
that's
that.
what it's for.
And the only other item is that I always, again, I scrub all these budgets at the end, so some of these budgets will change when I present a balanced budget to you in April. As we go further through the year, I will make some adjustment to the solid waste disposal and the hauling, because that is variable based on use.
Mhm.
It's a flat fee. For example, every single truck is $150, but the more used, the more the fee.
Right.
So that is having an increase this year, so we'll scrub it and we'll make an adjustment at the appropriate time.
Okay. That's everything I had there. Mike, anything there?
No, I don't have anything.
Sorry, I don't think I asked you that in the last one.
You're good. I would have said something.
All right. Tree warden. I think it's flat funded and it's probably enough said on tree warden. I think that's everything. Anything else? Any comments? Anything?
No.
No. So, thank you. I appreciate it. And again, on behalf of the residents, thanks for the clean streets. Well, the white streets, clean, dirty car, safe streets.
Gonna balance it out.
Yeah, no, I'll take it. I'd much rather, I can wash the car, can't wash the dents out, so I'm
Yeah.
happy to, but everything I've heard has been fantastic, and thank you.
Thank you. A lot of hard work by the guys.
Oh, I definitely, I see it and I hear it 3 in the morning. I hear the truck come down the road, so.
And I just want to say also, this is Mike's first year he didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it. He's done a very, very nice job. The guys are doing well. Mike's doing well. And like you said, the roads look good and the projects are getting accomplished as well.
So, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks. I think the only budget item is
Fire.
the fire chief, fire department. All right, continuing down the agenda, item J is the DPW Surgery Award.
So this is how I'm the vice chair of a regional procurement firm. It's 27 communities. We go out to bid every single year. So this is what the bids came in. It saves us a lot of money if we had to go and do it by ourselves. So after the bids come in, we present them to the board, and the Board of Selectmen just sign it. So I just ask that you approve it as accepted, and then at the end of that, you can sign it.
Any comments, Mike?
No, not right now, no.
All right, so we'll take a motion to approve it.
Please.
Make a motion to accept the DPW service awards as presented.
We'll second that motion and vote in favor.
We'll vote yes as well.
All right. Next on the agenda is a vote to approve a reimbursement from the building department for Gene Hardy flooring at 168 South Main Street.
Yeah, so the background on this is just the fact that the person actually paid twice for the same project. So we don't have a process for reimbursement. It goes into the general fund. At least right now we don't. I think we should change that in the future. But in order to do that, the Board of Selectmen have to take a vote. So since they paid the fee twice for the same project, it's only fair to reimburse them for that amount. So I would ask that you make a motion to approve the reimbursement of $1,328 back to Gene Hardy Flooring.
Good.
I'd like to make a motion to reimburse Gene Harding Floors for $1,328 for double payment.
I'll second that motion and vote in favor.
Vote yes.
All All right, next up, comments on a site plan review for 626 East Street, which is Perry's Auto Sales, expansion on a non-conforming use.
Yep, so we could go to the map for a second, please. So as you drive down 106, you'll take a right-hand turn past the golf course. And just as about before you exit West Bridgewater, the 626 Perry's on the right-hand side. I'm sorry, the left-hand side. They have been what we call a pre-existing non-conforming use since the 1960s. In essence, that business was there before zoning went into effect. And so therefore they're grandfathered in by right. A handful of years ago, they purchased a property next to them, and there was a house on there. They demoed it, they did all the right things, pulled the permit, raised the building, and now they're looking to use that property. They had been using it, they had not gone through the process. Their argument had always been, well, we've always been here, but they added land, so they had to go through the process. So that's what they're doing now. I will say there are some complaints from the neighbors, because obviously now it's a residential area. And so as part of mitigation, they have hired an attorney. As part of the mitigation, they are looking to install a 7-foot tall fence at the beginning to try to mitigate for noise and for sight. So again, whatever the board would prefer to do. The Zoning Board of Appeals has regulatory jurisdiction, so all you're doing is making a recommendation. So, if you want to say you like the idea of the fence and you want to have some additional mitigation for neighbors, we can capture that and forward it with those comments.
No, I think that would be it. We've, one or two other businesses have come into town and really kind of shook some neighbors a little bit. And I'd like to see that minimized as much as possible. Not to say that the zoning board hasn't, in the meetings I attend, the chair and the board itself work pretty hard on trying to find compromise, and hopefully they can continue that with this. That would be it.
Yeah, I agree. They're trying to make a compromise by adding a fence
Yeah.
before even being mandated to do so, which I think they're steps in the right direction. So I don't foresee an issue here.
All right, next is to approve the meeting minutes for January 10th, 2024. Make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of January 10, 2024. And vote yes.
I will second vote yes as well. And then accept the meeting minutes for January 24th, 2024 for review.
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of January 24th, 2024 for review.
And I will second vote yes as well. All right, communications from boards, commissions, and town officials, we have nothing. Correspondence from the public to determine an action, we have nothing. We do have a couple people in the audience, and it is public comment, period. Of course. Hello. Anything in particular, or just observing? Super. At this point, we'll turn it over to the town administrator for his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, as you know, we have the CPA, a community preservation fund in town. It's an extra 1% on your tax bill that was approved by the voters about 15 years ago. There are two revenue streams that go into the community preservation fund. One is that tax that I just referred to, and the second is a very small fee that is collected on every single real estate transaction in the host community. If you can scroll one more time, please. You'll see in West Bridgewater, you'll see the amounts that we've collected over the handful past years. And you'll see that as the real estate market really heated up, more money came into that fund. We all know that pricing has really become high. Unfortunately, the price transaction has nothing to do with the number of transactions in reference to this fee. So for the CPA surcharges of the county, it's based on volume, not price.
Mhm.
So with that said, you can see that those collections are trending down. Again, I'm only bringing it to the board. It's $13,000, but I'm just bringing it to the board's attention. Next one is we have secured 2 ADA grants totaling about $65,000. I just wanted to say thank you to Tracy Aldrich. She's just done a fantastic job overseeing the grants. Before her was Laurie, and now it's Amy. And also we have our ADA coordinator in the room as well, who is always asking about what we can do for future grants and usually knows more stuff than I do beforehand. So, but in all honesty, I just wanted to say thank you to them. again, we continue to strive to find everything that we can secure funds that is not on the taxpayer roll.
Oh, that's great. That's $65,000. I'm sure we put to good use.
I'm sure they will. The next two I'll take as a tandem. They are ABCC decisions, which is the Alcohol Beverage Commission. Over the summer, they did a sting at both Motion Gas and at Yangtze for underage drinking. Both of them were found guilty of an offense. They held a hearing in November. They provided a decision, which was a warning to both facilities. Again, because you are the licensing authority, I thought it was only appropriate to bring it to your attention so you're aware. Cherry sheets. So this here is an old-fashioned term because the sheets used to literally be pink when they came from the state. Now they're obviously electronic. But what you'll see is that this is what the governor's proposed budget is at this point. So I use this analogy all the time. The Board of Selectmen is the executive branch for the town, and the governor is the executive branch for the state. You will vote, as a selectman, you will vote in April to bring your budget or publish your budget in a town meeting warrant, because again, that's a role of the chief executive department. However, it's town meeting or the legislative body that makes the final decisions. So same thing here. This is the governor's proposal. She has turned it in. At this point, you'll see it's about a $450,000 increase year over year, all told. Most of that is tied to Chapter 70 funds. However, you'll also see that school choice is actually down at least $79,000 because they took in less children. Although this is her proposed budget, the legislature will weigh in, and as we're going to see in just a moment, unfortunately, tax receipts are actually pending or trending about $1 billion lower year over year, which this budget does not take into account. So it'll be interesting to see what the legislature does, whether or not they look to cut services elsewhere, they look to cut local aid, or they take money out of their rainy day fund. We'll see. It's a process. Again, just bringing it to your attention. There'll be a lot more to do on this going forward. Our state rep, Jerry Cassidy, has decided not to rerun for office. He posted this the other day. I have not spoken to him. I did reach out to him. I didn't hear back from him. So it'll be an open seat. This seat does oversee or represent parts of Brockton, West Bridgewater, and a sliver of East Bridgewater, and a sliver of Easton. So it'll be interesting to see who actually does decide to run. Next on the agenda is an open meeting law complaint. So on November 1st, there was a decision made by the board, and that person is under the impression that it triggered an open meeting law complaint. I don't agree with that. Town council doesn't agree with that. They have filed an open meeting law complaint. By state law, they have 30 days to respond, and they did not do it within the 30 days. You can see that the date of the allegation is November 1st. That's on the bottom of this page. And I think if you go to the next page, you'll see that it was signed and dated on January 23rd. So it's outside of the 30 days. So although we feel vehemently that there was no violation, it is a requirement of the law for the board to take in receipt of the open meeting law complaint, so we are doing that. And then I and town council will pen a response to the Attorney General's office without discussing the merits of their argument, just informing that that they did not comply with what the rules and the regulations were, and therefore the Attorney General's office cannot take jurisdiction over that. So unless the board has any objection to that, that'll be our next step.
Fine here.
Next is that, as you know earlier, we appointed Daniela and promoted her to be the next assessor. Ann Williams, who is retired, we've put her on a retaining agreement between now and the end of the fiscal year. Daniela is excellent, and I have full faith that she's going to do an excellent job. But there's no doubt there may be some items that she'll have to look for some guidance on, and if so, we've put together a per diem contract with Ann in case she needs to make a phone call. Again, just an FYI to the board. And the last is that here's the letter dated this past month in January. It is one of many, but this is from our state association. Just informing you that, again, as of right now, through the first 6 months, $375 million was made in cuts because, unfortunately, revenues are trending down. And so they're looking to probably have to cut another $625 million. Again, none of that is actually included in the next fiscal year's budget, FY25. So that's gonna come to a head somewhere along the way. But again, giving you an FYI, that although there are some signs that the economy is doing well, obviously if state revenues are down, there are some pockets of weakness as well. And that'll have an impact on us when it comes ultimately to local aid.
Well, thank you.
that's
At
my-
this point, I'd like to make a motion to take a recess, and we'll come back in a session once the fire chief is here to present his budget. So,
I'll second it.
in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, coming out of recess and back into the final item on tonight's agenda, and that is the presentation of the fire department budget. So, Chief, what we've been doing is just kind of going through the line items where we have a change and discussing the reason for the change.
Fantastic. I will start. Line number 5111, which would be a 3% increase for a COLA adjustment. That would be the same for 5112.
Okay.
3% increase for contractual COLA adjustment. 5115 is the next line item that changes. That is an increase of 2.64%, which is due to COLA adjustments, and we have one firefighter that's due a step raise in April.
Okay.
That will cover that. Next, for 5134, that would be a cost of living adjustment for increase for sick time coverage
Okay.
for that request. 5135, 5136, 5139 can all fall under the same category. I'm requesting coverage for the 3 new firefighters that we added over the last year and a half. They're coming off their probationary periods, and they are due vacation time, personal time, and 13 paid holidays. So we rounded our ranks up to 20 from 17 in the last
Yep.
year and a half. So that's what that request reflects. Next increase is for the 5190, which is we have a newer firefighter who just achieved his 30 credits for his associate's degree. He should be reaching out next year to completion of that associate's degree, but right now he has 30 credits plus, which owes him $500 for contractual reasons. And the last 2 increase items to go over is for 5590, which is a request of $5,200. Each year, there's a $7,500 buffer placed into that line on top of what the contractual obligations are for uniforms and equipment. So each firefighter is owed $1,250 for their clothing allowance per year. And this would reflect that $7,500 buffer to be added back in. Last year it did not make it in due to oversight. So this year I would only need $5,200 to reflect that $7,500, plus the remaining balance would go to the $1,250 for each firefighter. And the last line item is 5730, dues and meetings. That's a request of $400 increase to cover expenses for myself for dues and meetings. I'm a member and or chairperson of multiple committees and associations in the state or the county level. And I go to one professional development conference, which is the end of every February. So that increase would cover those dues increases and the professional development conference. And that will cover my request.
Questions?
No, I do not have any questions.
I feel like choking in front of the fire chief.
Sorry, it's the right person to choke in front of.
Yep. I was about to say, he knows CPR.
So, I
You
am
call
all set.
911.
Okay.
There's nothing here. I had questions on the increases in our salary. I should stop talking and explained it very well. So, anything, nothing?
Nope, I have no questions. Chief, just want to say thank you for all you do and the rest of the department.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
I'll
guys
pass
have
that
been-
along. Thank you.
Yep, by all
Have a good
means,
rest
you
of the
guys have been busy. So, thank you. At this point, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Thank you all.